In today's video, we're heading to the densely populated northeast corner of Singapore. We'll take a cycle around Sengkang and Punggol and ultimately head to the brand new Punggol Digital District. We'll also take a detour over to Coney Island, which is densely populated, but not by humans. Okay, so this is the Sengkang Riverside Park. It was opened in 2010 by Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong. And when I say it was opened, it's because this is classed as a man-made wetlands area. So obviously there was some nature here before, but it's been developed into an area where people can kind of run around, cycle around, come here for recreation and leisure. If you come in through the main entrance and take a loop around here, you'll actually pass by 16 different types of fruit trees. So everyone is unique and has some fruits that you wouldn't see maybe in a supermarket. A nice day for cycling. Let's go. Although this is part of the Northeast Riverine connector, this is also part of the Coast to Coast Trail here. So the Coast to Coast Trail is 36 kilometers, going from Jurong Lake Gardens in the west of Singapore, all through Singapore, past the Singapore Botanic Gardens, through MacRitchie Reservoir Park, up through Bishan Ang Mo Kio Park, Sengkang Riverside Park where we are now, and then up through Punggol Waterway walk into Coney Island. So we're kind of just doing this little corner here. Maybe on another day I can go and do that whole coast to coast trail, either by walking or by bike. Just to let you know, it stopped raining and it's suddenly getting about 10 degrees hotter. So I've gone from worrying about rain to worrying about sunburn. But anyway, let's crack on. A lot of people make videos about Singapore, the 10 best things to see in Singapore and things. A lot of those people are on a connecting flight from maybe Europe through to Australia or America or wherever it is, and you know, they have a little stopover in Singapore and you know, they run into the city, they go to Marina Bay Sands and Gardens by the Bay and all the places right in the centre of the city and make a video about it. Well, I've lived here for 11 years and I've seen most of Singapore. Haven't seen every bit of Punggol, but I'm going to see some more today. I'm going to see Coney Island for the first time. This kind of little waterway is taking me into Waterway Point, but I want to stay on the park connector, so I think I got to go at this ramp here and go across to carry on cycling on this route. You can see one of the benefits of creating these waterways around here is that these houses here are just built next to the water here. They're classed as kind of riverside apartments. They've got kids' playgrounds there, exercise areas, and places for people to get out and walk. And it encourages a healthy society. That's why Singapore's one of the fittest countries on the planet. But yeah, this whole area it's been really developed over the last couple of decades. So Punggol and Sengkang really have grown massively, so much so that they just announced that for this year's general election there will be extra parliamentary seats for Punggol and Sengkang. Because of the growth in the population, they've had to kind of split down the constitutional areas. So yeah, that just shows how much these areas are booming. So obviously okay, so I found myself a little bit lost, not sure which way the path is going, but I don't need to worry because National Parks in Singapore has an app. I don't know how well you can see in the bright sunshine here, but I can see I'm still on the right path. I just need to go across the road there, and yeah, that's going to take me back onto the river. So the country club is the yellow and blue building, if you can see behind there, and then I'm going to go down there. So thanks to the app, it's telling me I'm on the right track, and it's telling me about all the points I'm going to hit as we cycle around. Pretty good. Morning. If you do see any suspicious activities in this area, do phone 999, which includes boats landing on the beach with suspicious persons on board. If they're not suspicious, maybe it's okay. Suspicious vehicles parked near the shoreline, unloading of goods at the beachfront. Suspicious person swimming at sea. Okay, so if someone's swimming and they're not suspicious, it's okay. But I guess it means, I don't know what it means. So can you swim in the sea or not? You can swim in the sea as long as you don't do it suspiciously. Passing my first mall. This is North Shore Plaza 2. So, I don't know, is there also a North Shore Plaza 1? I don't know. This looks like it's brand new. Not much open here. Oh, there is a Four Fingers Crispy Chicken. That sounds pretty good. And this pirate playground looks fantastic. I might have to get on there later. It's the first beach I've seen. So I'm going around to Punggol Point. Yeah, it's the first time I've seen sand. I've been to the river's edge, and there's been, yeah, but this is the first time seeing sand. A little bit of stuff washed up, but fairly clean. I'm not sure I'd want to go and sunbathe on it, but still, nice to see a bit of sand. If you want to go on the beach, really, you're going to go to Sentosa, down in the south of Singapore, not really up here in the north. I cycled for about 6 kilometers, leave my bike there for a minute. Got to the police lookout point. So this is the jetty that shows up on the map. I assume I'm allowed to film here. I don't think there's anything secret here. But yeah, there's a police lookout here, and the police obviously looking out for any suspicious swimmers. So this was one of the sites of a massacre by the Suk Ching. So I've heard a lot about that actually. There was massacres down where Jalan Besar Stadium is now as well. And basically those were basically massacres conducted by the Japanese when they were in charge of Singapore during the Second World War, when as it was British territory and it fell to the Japanese, and they purged a lot of the Chinese population here because they were seen as dissidents. Yeah, apparently that happened here as well. Chinese civilians, mostly males, underwent screening, and those suspected to be anti-Japanese were executed at remote locations by the Heizhou Kempai, Japanese auxiliary military police. Hundreds of civilians, including those that had been rounded up during a house-to-house search along Upper Serangoon Road, were killed on this beach on the 28th of February 1942. So the moment we're up here, northeast, this is the Punggol area, your woodlands over here, Kranji over here, the Bukatima here, your zoo and all the wildlife reserves are kind of in this area. Jurong to the west there, Holland Village is around here. You've got Changi where the main airport is. There is also another airport in Seletar, which is about here as well, but it's only a little one. Changi is the main airport. If you can see, there's a little monitor lizard, well, quite a big monitor lizard coming through here. I assume this monitor lizard is not a crocodile. Look at this guy. Is he going to come up the steps? If he comes up these steps, I might make a run for it. Oh no, there he goes. Where's he going? Whoop, it's gone underwater. This whole area here is Punggol Settlement, which is a dining area. Very quiet here now. Lunchtime in the middle of the week. But in the evening time, this place is rammed. It's very busy. Yep, even the chickens agree. I've reached the Punggol Promenade Nature Walk section of the Northeast Riverine Park, but this kind of causeway here goes over to Coney Island. Like I say, I've never been on Coney Island. I believe that it's pretty good for cycling, so give it a go. Wow, it's crazy. I feel like I've changed country immediately crossing into Coney Island. Firstly, there is a track to cycle on, so this is nice. And then these big kind of fir trees, and I feel like I'm in North America or somewhere. The temperature. Okay, I need to put the brakes on. Whoa. Whoa. Okay, definitely does have kind of a beachfront. Does this count as a beach? Certainly somewhere you can sit and sunbathe. I think I prefer the shade. Massive tankers going over there. So I think if my geography is right, if I don't know, is so I'm Pulau Ubin. That must be, sorry, if I'm on Coney Island, then I think that should be Pulau Ubin. I think that's not Malaysia. Malaysia's more over there. This should be Pulau Ubin, I think, where that big tanker is going. Pulau Ubin is an area that you can take a boat to. It is another place you can cycle around. There's not much there in the way of kind of facilities and stuff. It's not like Bintan or Batam, which are the Indonesian islands that you can take a ferry to that have all hotels and stuff. Pulau Ubin is, well, not a lot there. Not a lot in terms of facilities. But yeah, look at this area. This is Singapore. Yeah, these trees. Okay, I'm gonna go through here. Oh my gosh, it's so much cooler here. Wow, it's really, I mean, it sounds obvious, but it really demonstrates what difference it makes to have nature acting as you know, giving shade and cooling the place down. I've got to a bit here where there's a load of monkeys, so I'm going to go a bit faster. Yeah, there's a lot of monkeys there. You can see them all here on the wall, hanging out. I don't want to hang around here. Oh, they're everywhere. Loads of them. They're all having a sleep. Oh, look, they're all here sunbathing. Monkey Central. I can hear them in the trees as well. Wow, loads of baby ones here. Wow. I'm on the bumpiest bit. My little folding bike is not coping so well. See how many monkeys there are. I haven't counted, but there's a lot of monkeys. Wow, there's another like 10 or 12 over here. Wow. Loads of them. Okay, they're all along the water here. I think cycling wise they're leaving me alone, but I wouldn't want to walk here. Worst thing you can do, I think, is have a brightly coloured backpack or any kind of open bag, so then they really go for you. Right, there's ones here looking at me. Stay away, boy. Wow. I'm going to put my hands on the steering wheel, it's going to get bumpy. Look at these, just keep going. I've seen a lot of monkeys in Singapore, or macaques, to give them what I think is the proper name. What you can see here is the huge amount of public housing there, all the HDBs, all the developments built by the Housing and Development Board, right next to the new Punggol Digital District that is kind of opening up now. So some parts of that digital district are already open. There is a sign there saying food court, so I am hoping to go there and get some food. So this is the Punggol Digital District, and yeah, it's split into different areas. There's areas for business, for education, and for retail. So it's all very integrated. The Singapore Institute of Technology is here, as well as kind of other educational things. And there'll be businesses that are at the forefront of technology. And the idea is having everyone here in the same area to exchange ideas and kind of look at things and how Singapore should operate in the future. The entire district has been developed by one company, which is a company called JTC Corporation. JTC Corporation sounds like a private company, but it's actually a statutory board in Singapore. So it's part of the government. It's part of the Ministry of Trade and Industry. And yeah, the reason it's called JTC, well, it used to be called Jurong Town Corporation. Jurong is an area of Singapore on the western side, and that's where they first started doing their developments. Now they're called JTC Corporation. Slightly funny name because it's Jurong Town Corporation. I'm not quite sure who came up with that, but that's what they're called now, JTC Corporation. So you can see here we've got kind of the retail area there, and going into some more of the education and business areas. This is Punggol Coast Mall, which is just opened. So not everything here is open. I'd say maybe only about 10% of it is actually operating. You can see there's a Burger King there and Aston's and different things, but yeah, there's still a lot to open up here. The whole district has been master planned by a company called Woha Architects. If you can see all the trees through the buildings on the other side there, that is Coney Island, where I cycled through a little while ago and was being chased by a load of monkeys. I think some of the monkeys from Coney Island maybe make it over here as well. There is a $10,000 fine for if you feed the monkeys here. So I think it's really important that all these buildings are connected. They all have these walkways from one building to another, and the covered roof area as well, just to protect, not just from the rain, which does happen a lot here, but also just to give an extra bit of shade. But although I'm kind of looking up in this video, the most interesting thing about this district is actually what's under the ground, because you know, this is kind of like a trendsetter in Singapore in terms of how many things are moved underground. A lot of the retail facilities are underground. There's major underground car parks. There's the MRT station, the Metro Rail station that's underground, and huge district cooling facilities that are housed underground here as well. So it's almost like there's a whole district underneath the digital district. And that's what's really the interesting bit about this, besides the fact that they are, like I say, trying to really bring new technologies together here in one place as well, and new ideas. Some of the most interesting engineering and construction is the stuff that we maybe don't see under the ground. So this Punggol area has really kind of boomed with lots of new HDBs, lots of residential housing over the last few years. Like I said, the LRT opened in 2005, so you know, this is being developed. And I think one criticism of Punggol is there is a lot of housing here, but not necessarily the jobs and the facilities that the people wanted. So I think that this is a huge move for Punggol and just for the northeast of Singapore in general, to place this this whole district where they're looking at digital technology right here in the heart of the most populated area of Singapore.